Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Finn. Finn is from England in the UK. So let's see what Finn has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Good, good. How are you?
Amazing. Hey Finn, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm very well. It's not bad, not bad. How are you doing?
Very good. So tell me, how's your day going so far?
It's not bad. Just sort of a typical Saturday afternoon, really. Sort of got up, went for a walk. We've kind of got patches of sunshine. It's not too bad.
Yes,
It's not too cold. You're in London, right?
I'm based in London.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So, yeah.
during the weekends, do you have those kind of routine that you do every weekend or you just go with the flow?
Typically, just go with the flow, depending on sort of if it's a work I have to do or things I have to finish up. And just see friends and family. Try and just have some downtime.
Tell me where you're from, Finn.
So I'm in Hampshire. I'm not too far from you actually. Sort of maybe 30 miles sort of southwest of London.
Okay?
Sort of out in the countryside ish.
And that's the place where you're born and raised?
Yes, yeah. I'm sort of around here. Sort of around here.
Huh?
I've moved around a bit, but sort of ended up
So
back
tell me
here.
something interesting about the area where you live right now.
Um, it's quite a quiet area, um, which has its ups and downs. It's
Hmm.
nice. It's nice to sort of be out the way of any sort of, I don't know, city atmosphere, but then also it can get quite not too much going on, and it's hard, especially with kind of music, with that sort of being my career, sort of meet other musicians or make connections. So yeah, it has its ups and downs.
So let's start the interview talking about your career as a musician. So tell me
Mhm.
how everything started.
So I started studying classical guitar. Well, no, actually, I picked up the classical guitar maybe when I was sort of early teenager, sort of around maybe 12. I was really inspired by sort of European folk music and classical music, particularly Spanish music. Um, and so I sort of tinkered with that. And then sort of later in my teen years, I studied classical guitar. I studied classical guitar for maybe 6 years,
Okay.
maybe a little bit less actually. Um, and yeah, I just sort of did the hard work to understand the instrument, understand the technicality, the musicality, and just sort of fell in love with it really. Um, and I was quite lucky, and I fell into a job where I was able to sort of teach guitar
Hmm?
at various schools and stuff, and really able to sort of teach it on from my understanding and from what I could offer. Um, and then after that, I sort of set up a studio where I can teach privately. So I have people come visit my studio. So I sort of I teach younger ones classical guitar, I teach older ones classical guitar.
Hmm.
I do sort of music consultancy and stuff like that. And then so I'm sort of doing that at the moment, while I'm also sort of writing music and sort of trying to go more down that route as well.
That's amazing. I was checking your profile a little bit and I could see you playing some guitar. I could see you, express yourself through music. And I think it's amazing, to see musicians, playing their guitar. And I could, I like the vibe of it. So I like the
Yeah, of
vibe.
course.
It's amazing. It's amazing
I
to see
think
a lot of
I
music.
think the guitar is such a beautiful instrument, and I think it's a shame that people often sort of skip the musicality of it as an independent instrument. I think when we kind of think of a guitar, we sort of think of singer-songwriters and playing chords and stuff like that, which is absolutely amazing. That's great, but as a sort of as an instrument, there's so much more to sort of discover with the guitar.
Amazing. Okay, Finn. So during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey, okay?
Hmm.
But before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself or maybe something that not many people know about you.
Interesting thing about myself. Oof, that's good. Well, I'm left-handed, but I play the guitar right-handed. That's
Yes.
often people think that left-handed people have to flip the guitar upside down and change the strings around, and it's not the case. We can learn to play the guitar right-handed.
And it was quite difficult for you when you started playing the guitar, or it just was natural for you to choose the other
If
hand?
as long as you as long as you start doing it right-handed, you won't notice the difference. And actually, I think that the technicality is in our left hand. Oftentimes, we're sort of finding the right notes and sort of chord patterns, and it's just a different. That is my more dominant hand, and so I'm good. A left-handed person might be more familiar with moving their fingers around, getting the right chord patterns and scales and whatnot.
That's interesting for sure, because I never heard of that and I never kind of thought about that. So
Yeah.
if you have left hand, if you use your left hand, it's quite difficult for people who wants to play the guitar or start a lesson. It can be a bit harder than if you are right-handed.
I wouldn't say it's any harder.
Uh-huh.
I think it's just different.
I
And so
see.
yeah, and so I have had so yeah, me being left-handed and always playing the guitar right-handed. I've had students that are left-handed as well and have played left-handed guitars. So I've had a mix kind of I've been able to kind of witness
Okay.
different experiences of it. And I wouldn't say it's any more difficult. It is just different. And so if it's something that if a left-handed person was to always play a right-hand guitar, I don't have anything to compare it to really. So
I see.
it's just that my more dominant hand is doing the scales and chords, and then my right hand is obviously doing the plucking.
Just made my day now. I learned something new. I'd never heard of it and I never thought of it before. I love it. I have a friend of mine. He's a musician. He played the
Okay.
piano. He plays the piano, and it's amazing. And of course, he plays other instruments as well. And fun enough, the other day, I think he was walking around his area, and somebody literally left, like on the bin, or like to be collected, beautiful old guitar that when he saw it, was like, oh my god, that's very unique, someone to leave, what I mean, this to be collected. And he took it home, and he kind of doing some refurbishment on it, and he kind of organized it and said, William, he showed me, said, William, it's perfect, look at this, and this is a third fortune, because you don't find this anymore in, what I mean, in the market. You don't find that. It's something unique here. And he was so surprised that someone literally just left there, because when he started, oh my god, that's incredible. And of course you could see that it was old, but it was still okay, and he literally make it look nicer again. And he said, William, this is a could cost a fortune one of these.
I've heard some refurbished guitars that sound incredible. I think guitars, I mean, any wooden instrument is kind of like wine. It gets better. The sound gets a little ever so slightly richer as the guitar gets older, because wood is a natural substance.
Totally.
So it's just going to age and it's just going to mature. And
Absolutely.
so one of the guitars that I have, I was really stupid. I left it sort of propped up behind a big wooden bench.
Ooh.
And someone stood up on this as they got up from the bench, knocked the bench right over.
Ouch.
And knocked my guitar over and smashed it to pieces. And
it was painful for sure.
It was yeah. I had to really, bite my tongue on that one. But anyway, I spent a while looking for a good luthier in my area. Came across this guy. I can't quite remember his name, but he did a great job on it, and patched it all up, fixed it all up. And I would say that I prefer playing it now.
I see. Okay, Finn, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of views?
Say that again, sorry.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Take it away.
Amazing. Welcome to William in the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Run the phone questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Right, so before you start the interview, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? Okay, first question is, describe yourself in 3 words only.
3 words. I would say curious, I think, is one. I think curiosity plays into kind of my craft and my art and what I do. Hmm. I think patience. Patient. I think with obviously teaching, I've learned a lot of patience along the way, and sort of trying to get started alongside people. Other one, patience. Hmm.
And nowadays, with the world we live right now, that we are very impatient. All of us, we are all, and to see someone that can tell that you are patient, it's a big plus. It's a
100%, 100%.
for sure.
And I think from a third one, I think honest. I think honesty is something that I try and achieve every day.
And describe yourself in one negative word. What that would be?
Oh, I think full on. I could be full on sometimes.
Saying that thing, when you think about yourself and analyze yourself, what's the biggest joy of being Finn? What do you like the most about being you?
I think my biggest joy is having people around me that I really love and watching them grow in sort of conviction and sort of their life.
And those people around you that you just mentioned now, tell me one of them that, of course, you're close to them, you share, your life with them. But right this moment, there's someone that maybe if you're feeling the lowest, this person comes to your mind for you to somehow open up. And at the same time, when you're feeling the happiest, the same person comes to your mind for you to share the news or to share something nice that's happened in your life. There's someone that comes to your mind right now, straight away.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend, my missus, she's sort of, we've been together for a long time, and I've been able to share sort of the highs and lows with her.
Okay, so she's watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send her a message. What would you say? She's watching.
Hey, what's up? Love you. Hope you're having a good day.
Oh, sweet. I think those special people they come into our lives, to be there for the up and lows. They are always there, and I think that's very important because as not just as an artist, but anything you do in your life, you need to have someone on your side to back you up or to pull you out or to ground you as well sometimes. So I think those people are very precious for sure.
Definitely. I think it's those people that give you incentive and purpose.
Absolutely. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Finn from England. Next question is: if you could have dinner with anyone, living or not, who that would be and why?
Oh, that's a tough question. Yeah, with anyone. Um,
Oh my God, I can see so many people going through your mind right now, like.
yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I think if I could have dinner with anyone, I think it would be really interesting to sit down and share dinner with Claude Debussy.
Why is that?
I think there's something really magical about sort of his compositions, sort of especially later on in his life, and I think it would be really interesting to have sort of a casual conversation about his sort of where he sort of gets his inspiration from, and what his influences really are.
And okay, you are sit down with him to have this meal. What would be the first question to him that you go like, okay, that's the first question you need to ask? What that would be?
I think I would ask what music says to him,
Oh,
how it
that's a good
speaks to
question.
him.
Wow, amazing. I think music speaks with us every single day. Don't
Mm-hmm.
you think?
100%.
It's amazing the power of music. I think even your lows, when you are feeling melancholic or sad, you put that song that is gonna, may sometimes make you even sadder. However, it's great the feeling of it.
For sure. It's about feeling the patterns and sort of letting that sort of interfere with your life. And that could be a really good thing or it could be a really bad thing at the same time.
So tell me how music came into your life.
Music came into my life. So I grew up with a very musical family. So both my parents were musicians. And so it was just always, it was sort of part of my formative years quite a lot. So I would have been a baby sort of sat on my mum's lap while she was playing the piano,
Wow.
playing Chopin and all of that. And then my dad has worked in production a lot of his years, and so I was sort of around various musicians and sort of how that all works and the mechanics of it and everything. And so it's always just sort of ingrained in me from a young age.
Do you consider yourself as a singer as well, Finn, or just on the side of playing with the
No,
guitar?
I don't sing. So I will sing if I have to. For instance, I will sing if I have to sort of try and describe a scale or a particular chord sequence or how different chords or notes sort of
Mhm.
relate to each other. But it's not very good. But no, I don't. I'm not a singer.
I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, tell me what's the biggest joy of being a musician? What's the biggest, feeling of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging about it?
Good question. I think the biggest joy as a musician, as an artist, is being able to play something that speaks to someone else.
Hmm.
You know, being able to sit in a room and create an atmosphere. And the biggest joy of teaching music that I find is, again, watching someone accomplish something that they thought was impossible. That's really rewarding, I find. Um, and so, what was the end of the question? Was
And
you asked
the opposite, the challenge of
the
being a musician.
challenge of it. I mean, I think every musician can relate to this in that it is a challenging career path to take for sure. Um, and having to put yourself out there or having to play when you don't feel like it.
And do you teach like in certain music school, as you mentioned before, at home as well, or one
Mm-hmm.
to one? How does work your schedule?
I do a mix, so I'll work in schools. I'll work sort of freelance in various schools, and that's really good and that's really enjoyable because I get to go into a school setting and sort of be able to teach something a little slightly differently to how they'll usually their kind of usual experience of having music taught. And then I also have a studio which I teach out of, so that's on a one-to-one setting. Well, it's all on a one-to-one setting actually.
Yep.
So in my studio, I have people sort of uh, come and sign up to guitar lessons, and it's quite a nice atmosphere in there, and so we'll just be able to pick up whatever level they're at, which is really exciting. I try and teach music in a way that sort of really speaks to people depending on where they're at, depending on what they're after. You know, it might be younger kids where, you know, it might be that their parents want to sign them up to music lessons, which is absolutely fine. And I'll try and make it enjoyable and accessible for them. Or it might be sort of more advanced musicians who want to sort of refine their skills a little bit or understand music theory or how to phrasing or whatever it might be. So I try and meet the student where they're at, depending on where they're at on their music journey or what they're trying to achieve, and give them different routes to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
And of course, as you mentioned, the kids, mostly, of course, kids, they want to learn, they want to become a musician, they want to connect with music, they want to express themselves. However, do you have some adults that for maybe just for a therapy or curiosity, or maybe they want to, explore music? There are some people as well interested in that to learn some music, guitar, or not?
100%. And you know, some of my yeah, so I have some students that are sort of a lot older, sort of
Hmm.
closer to middle age, that have just sort of said, you know what, I've always wanted to learn classical guitar. I've always wanted to learn
Amazing.
flamenco guitar or whatever it is, and now's the best time to do it. And so I've had some older students come to me that sort of have no experience, and that's great, and I love that because they come with a really eager mindset, you know. So
I love that. I love that.
for sure. So, you know, people think that the older you get, it's harder to learn new skills, and I completely disagree. It's just it's a different route you need to take to achieve that. But I've seen really, I've really sort of good results with more mature students. And so I think, and for anyone, I advise anyone, if you want to start a new skill or pick up a new hobby, it's never too late.
Just give me ideas now. Next question for you is, good question. Which talent you wish you had?
What talent do I wish I had? That is a good question. I would love to be able to run for a really long time. I would love to be able to run a marathon. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, but running is the bane of my life. But that's why I do it, because I don't like it. Maybe that.
Do you think you're gonna do it soon?
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe London Marathon, eh?
Wow, actually, I had an
I'll see you
interview.
there.
Of course, I'll be like cheering up. Hello, Finn, come on, let's do it. You can do it. You can do it. Funny enough, I had an interview with a lovely man who he runs a company or his business that helps people to to run marathon, like over 35. So
Oh wow.
yeah, and he runs I think 16 or 15 marathon in his life after he turned 35. Can you imagine how amazing?
That's amazing. Yeah, yeah.
That's
And that's what I
inspiring.
mean. When you're that age, it's not too late to start something. And really, although you might feel you have a disadvantage being older, you actually
Mm-hmm.
have an advantage in that you have so many years experience of life, and so
Totally.
you're able to channel your
Absolutely.
mindset in the right areas in a more mature way.
I've got goosebumps saying that because it's so true. Because no, the society in the past, you reach 40, you're already like nowadays like 70. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Literally nowadays, I think it's about breaking stigmas. It's like I think that we are in a age now in a place in the world that's in life that we are younger for some reason. Could be different. Of course, we are much faster. I think everything's more fast now. However, I don't know. I don't feel my age. I feel younger, like much younger than I am. And it's
Mm-hmm.
great. It's a great feeling. And I think there are no age, it's just numbers. You need to do things in life that if you feel like doing it, don't shy of it. Just do it. Just go for it. Because I love those people when they come to the show and they embrace that. When I love that. I think you can do anything in your life, when you feel like. And as you said, the maturity in your head is a plus because you have this mindset prepared already. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
I love
Definitely.
that. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, next question for you is, what is one movie you could watch over and over again?
Do you know, I'm not too big on movies. I watch
So,
movies, but I'm not a movie person. One movie that I could watch over and over again. There was this film that I watched a lot when I was younger for some reason. I'm not too sure what it was, but it was an old sort of maybe 1950s film called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. You
wow.
probably haven't heard of it, but I watched it a lot because there was a lot of action and brotherly fighting in it, and that's sort of what I grew up on. And so maybe I could watch that just because it's so nostalgic to me.
And you have siblings as well, or are you only child?
I do have siblings. I have 3 other siblings.
And they're in the music industry as well, or not?
They have been sort of on and off. They're all sort of musicians in their own way. But none of them are sort of established musicians right now.
I see. 3 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, let's do a little game. Let's pretend now that your phone is going to ring and you have 3 calls on your phone. The first one, you need to choose. So one of those calls, it's someone invite you to play in their tour. They're going to do a world tour and they want to invite you. So one of those calls, you can choose which person that will be. Invite you to play on their world tour. The other call, it's someone invite you to collaborate in one music. So you're going to work with this person in one music only. And the third call, this person is calling you to work together in an album, in the whole album. So tell me those 3 names that would you like to receive a call with the invitation for you to play in their world tour, to collaborate in one music only, and also one of them they are invited to collaborate in the whole album?
Good question.
And I love that because I never asked anyone before that. It just came from my mind. I give the inspiration for that. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So on the world tour, I think I would probably have to go with the Gypsy Kings,
Wow.
who are a band, and the reason I would pick them is because of the sort of atmosphere that they can create in a concert hall or arena or wherever they are. I think that would be really fun.
Wow.
And then was it to collaborate with a musician?
Yeah, to make just one music, and the other one to play in the whole album.
Oh, okay. I think to collaborate, I don't have any names, but I would love to work with a flamenco vocalist, so a flamenco singer, so a cante. I think that would be really fun, but no names sort of come to mind with that.
Okay.
And then to work on an album with someone. Oof. There was this one guitarist who sort of sadly passed away last year, actually. So I don't know if this answer is valid to your question, but his name was Pedro Soler, and he was a French flamenco guitarist. And he spent sort of most of his life in Spain and sort of writing really beautiful music. And so I think, he was a musician that really sort of inspired me along my way with classical and flamenco guitar. And so probably would be him.
And why this connection with flamenco guitar and music? Why is that, Finn?
Good question. So kind of growing up, I was just really fascinated with sort of Spanish folklore and Spanish history and the culture. And obviously, guitar music is a really big part of their culture. And so with that sort of inspiration, I took to studying classical guitar. So classical guitar isn't directly correlated to Spain at all. It sort of comes from many different places, and the repertoire that we play in the classical guitar space is from all over the world. A lot coming from Brazil and South America, a lot coming from Germany and various places in Europe. But there is sort of there's this kind of small tie with Spain and Spanish music. And so I spent a long time diving into classical guitar in that space. And flamenco music was sort of something that always excited me and inspired me. And I just liked the passion. I liked the passion in it. And it's really the skills that you learn in classical guitar transfer over to a flamenco guitar. There's huge differences, but I find that with flamenco music and the storytelling and the poetry and the lyrics and the passion and the history and the folklore I find it quite exciting. And so I really enjoy diving into that.
Okay, so I would like you to answer the next question with your best Spanish accent, okay?
Best Spanish accent.
I'm joking.
I try.
Can you speak Spanish?
So I used to be able to. So when I was younger, I had friends that lived in Spain, and I spent lots of time with them. And I think when you're a kid, you sort of get thrown into social situations where people don't speak English, and so you just, like we were saying, kids just pick things up,
Totally. Yeah.
And so there was a point in sort of my early teen years where sort of I was definitely capable. So I can remember a little bit.
Amazing. Okay. Right. Oh, tough question now. If your plane was going down and you could call just one person to say goodbye, which person that would be and why?
I think again I'd call my missus, my girlfriend. Just as if I had one person just to say goodbye to, it'd be her.
And if she would be by your side, which person could call? So I'm joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking now because I had an interview with a lovely man, and this question came along, and of course he had a partner, and he said, Actually, I cannot call my partner because she's gonna be by my side for sure. I said you're so cheeky to say that because you'll take your partner with you to die. She's not gonna like that. She's not gonna like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Question for you, talking about, I think it's a moment in our lives that I think all of us gonna go through that. It's a point that is the only sure that we have in our lives. So question for you is, it's something that when you think about it, it's something that scares you, or it's something that you just see as a matter of life? How do you approach this topic about dying?
Good question. I think that I think that the only way that we can succeed in life, I think, is dying. I think that you can look at that two ways. I think that success. So you could look at it like the ultimate success.
Mm-hmm.
Once we achieve that, then we might stop learning. And so, as master of crafts, or I wouldn't say that I'm that at all, because every single day I'm learning something new. And so I think success is death, and I think to die is to succeed. I think that's like you say, it's the only thing that's guaranteed in life, and I think that dying is ultimate success.
Wow, that's very interesting, your concept, and I like that. I think it's, I think we need to, first of all, I think we need to embrace every age that we are in. I think it's a gift to be able to say, I'm this age, I'm going through this age, because sadly, some people, they even don't reach certain age. And I think it's a gift every day. And of course,
100%.
When you talk about dying, of course, it can be scary. It can be, because I think life is so beautiful, so nice to be here, that we don't want to finish. We don't want this to go away. However, as you said, it's a success. It's a place where we're going to go knowing that you just succeed something. Actually, I like that. It makes so sense. And it's, even though can feel scary, but at the same time, it can go like, you know what? I'm going now. It's time for me now, so it's great. I like this concept. Amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it. How do I say 2 questions left in Spanish?
Dos preguntas. I don't know what's left.
Portuguese, we say duas perguntas faltam. Faltam means like, faltam duas perguntas. I think.
Yeah. How's your Spanish being Brazilian? Do you speak Spanish?
I understand 99%. Yeah, I never studied. I mean, back in school we do, but it's so similar that for me, if I hear some Spanish people talking, I understand 99%. I know everything what they're talking about, but they talk very fast, and it's interesting.
Yes, especially in Europe. In Spain, they speak.
Oh yeah.
In South America, it's a little bit more relaxed.
I always tell my friends, if you want to learn Spanish, just take a coach from Stansted Airport to Victoria Station. You're gonna learn some Spanish, because in the bus you hear people. It's so funny.
Definitely.
I had experience coming from Stansted Airport on the way to London. I was like, oh my God, it's so funny to hear people, they talk so fast. So yeah. It's like a circle. For example, Portuguese, Brazilian, we understand Spanish better than Italian. Italian understands Spanish better than Portuguese. So it's like a triangle. Triangle. Yes. For example, if I hear some Italian people talking, I don't understand like Spanish, like everything. However, I know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? I have an idea what's the topic, what they're trying to say. Spanish, of course, it's everything. However, Spanish, when they hear Portuguese or Brazilian people talking, it's not easy that for us to, when we listen to them. You know what I mean? It's not that easy. They struggle a little bit more. They can understand, but they struggle more. But for us, exactly the same language. It's just its accent difference.
Of course.
And funny enough, French, which is the Latin French as well, the grammar, the French grammar, exactly like Portuguese, even more similar than Spanish. Because
really?
Yes, absolutely. And the verbs in all the verbs in French, they are exactly the same in Portuguese. I'll tell you something, Finn. English language is very easy to, when you learn English, oh my God, they are so straightforward and direct as well. Yeah. We have Portuguese words for everything. The verbs are the worst. When you're studying back school, and there are a certain time in school that spend like 6 months just studying verbs, because there are so many, and some of them you just You just know if you practice, because if you don't know how to, if you're spelling correctly.
It's sort of not able to translate it.
Yeah, because there's so many verbs in the past and in past. It's a lot of past and this and that, and some they're quite difficult as well because some of them you don't use them, and when you hear them, you know what that means, but you don't know how to spell because you don't use them. And in French the same as well. They have some verbs that they never ends.
Of
So
course.
yeah, the French grammar is very similar to Portuguese. However,
Yeah.
when I hear French as well, there are some words that I can pick, and there's some words that exactly the same. However, it's just the way they talk, the accent is very different.
Pronunciation is
Yeah,
completely
but it's
different.
the same words.
Of
It's
course.
just different.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Interesting.
Two questions left. Let's do it. Okay, next question for you is, which season of the year you feel more connected with and why?
Oh, definitely summer. Definitely. I like warm weather. I thrive in warm weather. I feel healthier. I feel more sort of inspired. I think it's just being outside more. I think
Uh-huh.
I do a lot better the more time I spend outdoors, and so naturally in summertime I'm doing that, sort of getting more sunshine, and so definitely summer.
Is your birthday around summertime or not?
No, it's not. It's in November.
Which day?
On the first, actually.
I'm November 17th, so you are Scorpio as well. No, I'm just asking you that because somebody told me once that you feel very connected with the season when you're born, and for me, it works perfectly because I love the autumn.
You know. Okay.
No, of course, I love the summer, all of them, even winter as well. I embrace all the season. However, the autumn, there's something beautiful about it. I think because where I'm from, Brazil, we don't have four seasons.
Of
So
course,
when
it's
I
very
arrived,
different to autumn here.
yeah, where I'm from, like it's summer every day, you'd love it. So when I arrived in Europe, I remember my first autumn. I was like, oh my god, I feel like a movie. All the leaves falling and those. It's beautiful. I think it's I love the autumn. It's
Mm,
beautiful.
mm.
Do you like celebrating birthdays, or for you it's just normal dates?
I like celebrating other people's birthdays. I'm not too
Okay,
big on my I'm not too big on my own birthday. But I like celebrating other people's birthdays.
very Scorpio. Last question, ready?
Mhm.
Do it. Last one. Okay, but before the last question, I'm going to ask a question in two parts. The first part of the question is, tell me a moment through your career as a classical guitar teacher that you're never going to forget. Could be maybe something that you learned from your students, could be maybe a class that you had that you're like, wow, that moment I'll never forget. And the other part of the question is, as a musician, tell me, other moments that you had, that's for you, it's maybe was the highlights of your career, or maybe was a moment that you were like, wow, it's other moment that will get close to my heart.
So, a moment teaching. Um, I think I have a few that come to mind. I think I've worked with. I've done a lot of work with younger children with sort of various issues, sort
Mhm.
of um, uh, children with sort of quite severe anger issues or
Okay.
sort of not great family backgrounds. I've worked a lot with sort of neurodivergent children. Um, I think one that sort of comes to mind was I was sort of working with this young boy, and he had quite a messy family background, and he really struggled with anger. And I sort of had to adapt my teaching methods for him.
I like that.
Um, and I had to sort of, meet him where he was at.
Uh-huh.
And some days that was kind of tricky, and it was sort of tricky to get through to him. And I remember this one day where he was really sort of down and not feeling too good, and very kind of angry, and it felt like I didn't really get anywhere that day with him. But I remember just before he left, he sort of got up, packed up his stuff, and opened the door to go out. And just before he left, he turned around to me and he said, like I think my lessons with him were maybe half an hour. And just before he left, he sort of turned around and said, that these half hours that I get with you are the highlight of my week. And that really touched me because as
Wow.
I really try, I work hard to offer that, and I do have a big heart for children that
Wow.
struggle in that area, and so I think that was something that always stuck with me.
And children, they are so honest. You know, if he said that, it's because he meant it deeply,
100%,
deeply.
one hundred.
Because oh my God, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it really touched me that he
Wow.
chose to voice that.
And if you carry on talking, I'm going to start crying now.
And what was the second question? Sorry.
As a musician, tell me a situation or a moment that you went like, oh, you know what? I was born to be a musician. You know, that's my path. There was like a moment in your life. Maybe when you started, or maybe as a child, you know, sometimes when you look back in our childhood memories, we're like, oh my God, that was there already, and I could feel it.
Mm. Yeah, I can't think of any singular moment, but there were definitely moments sort of in the beginning when I sort of started exploring music and that space, where I just had breakthroughs with my sort of study and with my playing, and it caught people's attention, and people were sort of saying, actually, there is something quite special there.
Wow. And I believe that having, you know, musician parents, do you think that was a plus, or maybe your parents knowing you know, the struggle sometimes about being a musician, they want maybe to protect you? How did they approach that?
That is a good question. So I think I can tell when it comes to students and younger people, especially. I can tell if they come from a musical background or not.
Interesting.
It comes out in their playing, in their mannerisms, in the way they react to kind of instructions or being taught, the way that they sort of internalize that.
Why is that?
It's like this. Oftentimes there will be things that I won't even need to tell them, and they'll just have it, and they won't even know that they have it to
Interesting.
start off with. But it will just be a not a skill, but
Uh-huh.
a way of internalizing the music that they just have sort of ingrained inside them. Um, and so I think that like you mentioned, there could be downsides with that, with sort of any kind of pressure or sort of being kind of too close to one influence of kind of what direction to take. But I think overall, um, growing up with music and having it around you is a good thing.
Yes, and it's interesting saying that because, you know, of course, based on your own experience, you know, with some maybe comments from your parents growing up or some advice, something, I'm sure it was easy for you to pick those, you know, moments where the children just came and, you know what I mean, to do a lesson. You were like, I know I know you are going through like now in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And people watching this interview right now, maybe they would like to contact with you or to connect with you to learn some lessons or some classes, you know, or maybe their kids, or maybe, you know, just to uh, put themselves in an adventure of connect with music. What's something about the job that you provide that stands out?
I spend a lot of time and attention in in understanding the student and their goals and intentions, and being able to provide a pathway forwards for them. So it's not, for me, it's never a sort of one size fits all with my
Mm-hmm.
sort of one-to-one tuition.
Yep.
Um, and I try and keep it exciting. And so, for instance, instead of just taking a student through a grade one book or a grade two book or a grade three book and sort of doing the bare minimum to just sort of help them along their way, I try and inspire them. And so that might look like, if there's someone that's halfway through a grade three book saying, hey, let's pause this for a second. I just want to show you this piece of music that you'll find really hard to play because it's very advanced. But I
Mm-hmm.
just want to help you just have a little understanding of it to hopefully inspire you for the rest of what we're doing. And so I try and mix up the influences, right? So there's my direction
Mm-hmm.
and my kind of nurturing along the way, and then I try and use different sources of inspiration to try and speak to the student.
And how long it's your class? How long you suggest to have a class with you usually?
It's good. Yeah, I think I do a lot of half-hour classes with kids, and for
Okay.
some kids that's really good. For some
Mm-hmm.
kids it could be a little bit longer.
Okay.
Obviously, different attention spans
Okay.
vary a lot. 45 minutes is a bit of a sweet spot for younger children because it's just that little bit extra that we can just sort of talk about more or dive into things with a bit more attention. And then I think for sort of more mature students, an hour is a good slot to kind of get a nice lesson in from beginning to finish.
I'm just put myself in your shoes now. How excited to have a child, like so excited to learn some music. I think it must be so exciting.
Definitely, it's yeah, extremely rewarding.
Last question is, if you won the lottery, what would be your first big splurge?
Oof. I think I would use it on maybe not a holiday, but definitely spending another kind of long period of time in Europe or in Spain specifically, sort of meeting up with people and different musicians. And
Wow,
just sort of being able to put some time to being in a new environment and meeting new people.
beautiful. Okay, so then Jet, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to say some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money.
Patience.
Fear.
What was that?
Fear.
Fear.
No, fear.
Oh, fear.
Yeah.
Fear. Growth.
Family.
Important.
Life.
Terrifying.
Love.
Beauty.
Religion.
Conviction.
Sex.
Important.
Politics.
Discernment.
Friendship.
Vital.
Desire.
Careful.
I like that. You know, as a Scorpio, I would say danger, danger. I like the way you said. One word for regrets.
Imperative.
Success.
Death.
I like it. I'm gonna remember you on my last breath. I'm gonna go. Oh my God, I'm success right now. Remember him telling about it. That'd be my last thought when I go. Okay, that'd be my last thought. Oh my God, I'm reaching success right now. Love it.
Let's hope.
Oh my God, very thin now. Very thin now. Very
I'll
thin
just
now.
be
To
playing the
go.
guitar.
Yeah. My last thought would be, oh my God, I'm feeling now. I'm feeling the success. Hopefully, gonna be something not that hard. You know what I mean? I love it. Wish.
Direction.
Happiness.
Peace.
One word for musician.
Vulnerable.
One word for classical guitar teacher.
Education.
One word for flamenco music.
Passion.
A lot of passion, energy when they talk. It's like, you feel the vibration. It's just intense, amazing.
Storytelling is what it is.
Yes, storytelling, absolutely. And the last one now, one word for music.
Storytelling.
Actually, one word for England.
Pleasant. Pleasant.
What's it? Pleasant.
Pleasant.
Amazing. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your missus for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, what's the most beautiful thing about Finn? What do you think she would say?
Oof. I would hope. I would hope she would say honesty. I think hopefully.
And if I would ask her, tell me something that he still needs to improve on, to work on, what do you think she would say?
Definitely temper. Attitude.
Interesting. Let's play now. Thing in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, tell me what music has taught you.
I think music has taught me. I think it's partially taught me most things. It's taught me little about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think music is all about pattern. And so that's why it speaks to us on a deeper level, because there's no definitive subject. So it's with a painting, we have one thing to look at. With a sculpture, we have a definitive subject to study. Music, we internalize it, we can't see it. And so it's all about how patterns interact with each other. And so, I heard a psychologist, Dr. Jordan Peterson, talk about this, and he was saying that music with too little pattern is just noise, and music with too much pattern is predictable, so it's boring. And so it's finding that balance and being able to maintain and read those patterns and internalize them.
I like that.
And that goes into every aspect of life, really, is all about pattern.
Absolutely. And you just made me remember something now. Once back in Brazil, I think it was a priest, or he said something that when you sing, you pray twice. I love that. Something simple. And I was like, that stuck in my head. I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. That's how when you are singing or when you listen to music, you just go into there. You know what I mean? This
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think music is a form of prayer or worship. And it's
amazing. Okay, you can ask me a question now, Finn.
Well, I think with you being Brazil, did you grow up in Brazil then moved to London?
I was 19. When I was 19, I left Brazil. I moved to Portugal. I spent some time in Portugal, and I've been most of my life in England.
Oh, okay. What are some cultural differences that you see between England and Brazil? Obviously, there's probably quite a lot, but what sort of stands out to you the most?
Okay, I'm gonna straight away, and based on our conversation before about language, and I think when living here for so long, I think I understand. I think it's based one of the main things because of this, the English culture is about the language. I'll tell you why. Brazilian people, you have this tendency of being very warm. If you talk to a Brazilian person, like in the street, after 5 minutes, you become best friends, literally. If you're in Brazil, if you ask for the information to go somewhere, trust me, this person is going to become your friend straight away, because it's the way we approach. We have the thing of, it's something about Brazil so interesting, because I traveled a little bit around Europe, and I never seen any other nationality. Something about us. We are very talkative. We like to talk and like to know a little bit more. I don't know. There's something there, and it's a good thing. However, I realized that it can be a negative thing as well. Why? To make a decision or to go straight to the point, we go around, and never get there. You know what I mean? We're gonna get there one point, but we go. I see the language. There's so many words, so many things that make us go on there until the point. And since I've been here in England, the English people, they go straight away to the point. That's why some people, they go like, oh my God, they're so straightforward, direct, or cold. It's not. It's just because the language is something about them, and it's a difference, and I admire that as well, because I've learned to be more straight to the point. Go straight to the point. Don't go around to get there. You know what I mean? You spend so much time and emotions to get the point. If you go straight away there, you just avoid a lot of things. And there's a very difference. I see that. And so that's the biggest difference I found when I arrived in England, because you guys go straight to the point. You don't go around that. And I love that. In the beginning can be a cultural shock. You go like, wow, that's very direct or very cold, but no, it's not that. It's a habit. It's the way you just avoid. You just go straight to the point. Do you know what I mean? So we don't have that in Brazil. It's a different way for us. We'll get there, but it takes time sometimes. It might take some tears, some laughs, some, some emotions, but we get there. And here it goes straight to the point. And I think that's the biggest one that I found since I've been living here. Again, not right or wrong, it's just different.
Of course.
Amazing. Did you enjoy the interview?
It was very good, very fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again, Finn. Thanks for being so kind and so sweet. And I love to have passionate people here on the show. When people come to embrace their their life, their their profession or their career, and I love that. I think it's amazing for us. And again, music is just, I think, the basic. Everyone needs to have music in their life, you know what I mean, for different reasons. And when you learn music, it is even more intense and more, because you get to learn something more about music. And I think and it's amazing. I might start now after doing some classes now. It just inspire me. I love music, and I never thought about maybe some more, what I mean, classes regarding that. So you never know. You might see me here somewhere playing the guitar or doing some classes from now on.
Awesome. I'm pleased to hear that.
Before you go, Finn, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Something that goes around in my head a lot, and I can't quite remember where I heard this, but something I've had in my head a lot is that without guidance, we're limited to our own boundaries.
Wow, amazing. Thanks so much. Regards to your missus, to your family and friends, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure to have you on the show, okay?
Enjoy all right, thanks, William. All right, see you later.
Take care. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.